Cool. Well, let me mute this, and I wanted to. Oh, it is muted. Let me see if we're on. Hey, everybody!
Hi.
Live with Johanna, Conscious Communications, because we didn't know what to title this. We just wanted to come on and see what happens, what shows up. So
say hi. Say hi and bring your energy into the mix. Let's see what happens.
Hi, let us know. I think I saw Safiri. Yep, hey, Safiri, she's the one that was doing that drawing, that energy drawing that I showed you.
Oh, yeah. I loved that. I love that. And when I was watching her, I was like, oh my God, she's like a cool version of me, or not that I'm not cool, but she's like a different version of me. Like, I love what she's doing. And she's the artsy version, because I've always wanted to be that girl who's like creative and draws. Like, you guys, I got a light language download for one of our devotion connections. So the first one, right? So I have to tell you a little bit about the story. So we're doing these connection calls for the devotion experience, and Ashley and I are getting on these calls ahead of time, and we're having like these weird things that happen between the two of us. And so we both had this like clear head thing, like something came over us, and we're like, whoa. So we're talking, and she's drawn. I don't even know she's drawn. She's like, look what I created. This is like what'd you call it? Your logo?
Logo? I don't know. It was her soul logo. I don't know. It's just what I saw.
It was cool though. And then so the next time we're on a call, the same thing happens, and we figured out we're getting light language downloads. This is me drawing. This is like, hey, look, I got a flower and a funnel. Look at that.
Look at that thing in the bottom though. I was like, looks like 3 hairy balls.
Three hairy balls. I'm like, I see a firefly. Ashley's like, I see hairy balls.
Oh my gosh.
But this is
not bad. People, there's
this is my artsy right here, man. So when I saw hers, I was like, that's what I want. That's cool.
That's funny. Oh man. Yeah, so these calls have been so funny. Let's see. I can't see the comments on Be Live because it's a pain in the butt, but whatever.
I know. I can't see them either. So you'll have to just tell me what they say. Because if we open too many Facebooks, it gets all weird.
I just opened up Facebook and I just saw Safira's comment. She's like, balls!
Welcome to our live. We're talking hairy balls today.
Yes, hello. Oh, yeah. So, well, okay. So here's what came through as I was writing the title for this. I wrote Synergy, Karmic Relationships, Partnerships, the Spiritual Journey, Ascension Process, Galactic Beings, Gene Keys, and more. That's what I wrote as I was typing. I'm like, well, I guess we're going to touch on some of these.
We're going to touch on it all.
Yeah. At least for the first ones, I was like, okay, well, this makes sense because of like what brought us together. And I know that there's people that have this pull to have more collaborations, and they know that they don't want to do things alone, and they're wanting to have partnerships, and they're wanting, in different capacities, not just like having relationships, like personally. It's more like I want to have business relationships. I want to find my tribe. I want to find the people that I resonate with and start creating with them. And that's kind of what happened with us. But this has been a long time coming where we started to work together because we were both on the same path and doing the same things and having feeling energetically similar.
Yeah.
Really being able to resonate with each other.
It was actually last August that we crossed paths because we were in another group that we will remain nameless. We were in a lot of you know what group that is too. But we were in this other group, and
we got kicked out of it too.
Yeah, we all got kicked out of this group. So that'll just tell you the kind of judgment that was coming down or flowing. Anyway, that's another story. But we were both talking like lighthouses. That was when, and I have always been like, be the lighthouse. That has never changed for me. I've had, as long as I can remember, I've collected lighthouses and been obsessed with them. But Ashley was doing something too. And somehow we crossed paths and was like, hey, you wanted to interview me, or I was going to interview you or something. And then it never happened. And then I never paid attention to you, honestly, not to be mean, but I never even saw you again until Allie was like, hey, there's this girl. And I think she said the same thing to you. And then and then we just connected, and we have been pretty close ever since. So it's cool how the universe works, man.
Yeah. And I know that we've been, so Joanna's like, oh, we're gonna do something together, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. It's And after we did the sacred seals, we did like, obviously there's gene keys and then there's sacred seals, which is like a deeper dive into the gene keys. You're like unwinding all this karmic wounding and like bringing in grace and just all this crazy shit. And we were doing that together. I'm like, I feel like you're supposed to go through those doors and then I'll follow you. And so she went through that. And I kind of was tracing behind her as she was going on to the next one. So we were going through it together and she's kind of paving the way. And I'm like, la-di-da, this is so easy. And Johanna's like, oh my God.
This sucks. This is hard.
We're going through it before. Like, follow the trail. I'm like, oh, this is okay.
Oh my God. So funny.
Like with like the machete, like clearing the trail in the jungle.
Exactly. Oh my God, the jungle. Oh my God. So the shaman that I work with, it's so funny that you just said jungle. I just got that synchronistic thing that happens because she messaged me this morning. I'm trying to book a time with her, but you know, there's a lot going on right now and it's good. But she's like, don't forget, or so she say, I'm supposed to I can't talk now. Transfer the jungle goddess to you. And I was like, what? That sounds cool. I want some jungle goddess.
The jungle goddess.
She just came back from Peru. So she did that whole plant medicine thing.
That's
you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, did she do the frog medicine thing where they like inject themselves with the frog poison and go through like that?
What?
No, you never heard of that?
No.
Okay,
let's not do that one.
No, I don't want to do it. But
it's Ashgawana or Ash.
Yeah, no, that's
that one.
Ayahuasca or something.
Yeah, that's it.
No, that's for you to like go on that whole trippy like vision quest thingy. You know what else I've been hearing about is DHT or something, the spirit molecule, something like that.
I feel like I'm in the closet on all this stuff.
I don't know. I don't even do drugs, but because drugs scare me. I'm already out there enough. I don't need to be ripped from my body. Yeah, all this other, it was so crazy. All the random shit coming in. So Johanna, what do you want to talk about?
Well, this is what happens when
I'm all over the place. I'm just like
this vortex of things that we just collected. We just keep recycling it. It's so crazy. Well, there's something that I talked about in my group that I've been having. So I do a lot of work with the aliens, the ETs. I do a lot of work at night with them, and I ask them to clear. Speak of clearing. Karmic stuff and beliefs, blah, blah, blah. So sometimes they give me images or sacred geometry. And over the last couple of days, I've had a series of things happen. So I thought I'd share it in here because of the people in my group. And some of you guys are in here too. So there'll be a repeat for you. But I wanted to share it because people were like, whoa, that's so cool. Because in the beginning, when Ashley and I were coming together with this, you know, I teach a lot about spiritual awakening. The keys are not my main thing. It's a tool that I use, right? We're like, well, how does this even, like, how do we bridge that gap? Like, how do we connect the two? And we never really came to a conclusion, really. We're just like, okay, we're going to leave that alone and come back to it. So one night I wake up and I get this image. Okay, I got this like little tiny window to look through right here. So let's see. So it's a person and it's got like, I see this. And then so the next night I get the same image. And I think my guides, my team, they just like to give me little pieces because they like to be funny like that and be like, we're just going to make her figure it out the hard way. So anyway, I get the same image, except now, can you see it? There's a line running down the middle. I changed it from yellow, but you still can't really see it. I'm like, all right, so this is the endocrine system. I got that. It took me a little bit to figure out what this was. And this is where our meridians are. This is our channel. This is our light column that runs up and down our spine, connecting us above and below. So I'm like, cool. All right. What am I supposed to do with that? Yeah, whatever. So here's one thing I learned that you guys will help you is every time you get an image or hear something or a vision of something, you don't have to go figure it out. You don't have to go Googling it and doing all these things. I made that mistake early on. It's really exhausting because you never can figure anything out. So I just let it be. And so Ashley and I get on our little connection call and we're talking. And you know what happens? One of these little moments where I'm like, it just spits out the connection. It literally just came through in that moment. And as I'm saying it, I'm like body double. I'm like, whoa, I just put all the pieces together. Whoa. So we have this channel, right? This is our meridian. This is our light flow. This is our energy flow coming in from the cosmos, rooting down into Gaia. So how does this have any freaking thing to do with the keys? So I'm going to show you. I'm going to drop some magic right now. Some crazy stuff. I need more colored pens is what I need.
Yeah, you do.
Right? I need to expand my horizons. Let's see if this one will show up.
You need a green and an orange.
Ah, I picked up a teal.
Or a teal.
Or a teal. So I talk a lot about the Trinity. If you are a follower of me, you'll know I talk about this triangle. It kind of really looks more like something else, but it's a triangle, I promise.
This is a yoni. This is not a yoni.
Yeah. So here's a triangle, right?
Yoni looks like.
This is the Trinity. I talk a lot about Christ consciousness and spiritual awakenings and you know the three lights, the three whatever. So anyway, we're moving on. So I'm like, okay, well then all of a sudden we're looking at this. Look at this. So look at the gene key card. This is not.
Look at your chart. I love it.
So I've written on it just so we can see the triangles. But when we were looking at it, Ashley started talking about the pathway going straight down. And in that moment, this path, right when she's talked about this line going down, it all of a sudden came flowing through and I couldn't help myself. I had to interrupt because that's what happens. And so I was looking and I was like, holy crap, this is it. This is us inside of this apex, inside of this diamond. But we separate it and we make it above or below, grounded or high up, right? Well, then here comes some more. So when we talk about the Trinity, we talk about we are not our mind, we are not our body. So what's our mind? And this is probably not on the right side, but that's okay. So here's our mind, and this is our life's work to our evolution. Our greatest challenge is always in our head. It's an illusion, right? So this is our greatest challenge. This represents our mind. This is the first pathway of the activation sequence. Then we come over here and we talk about our core stability, right? This is our radiance down to our purpose. This is the grounding, what grounds us, which makes us feel safe, stable, secure, right? So this is our core stability. And when we realize, going back to that triangle, that we are not our mind and we are not our body, it collapses and we come into oneness. So but when we come into oneness, even though we know that, why can't we just come into oneness, right? Well, here's why. I'm going to show you. So here's our brain right there. What happens? We get up in our head. We create this big old block. So we block it. We can't receive because we're so up in our head, we're not aware that we're constantly receiving. We come to our heart. We're afraid to get hurt or we've already been hurt. So we put a box around it. We create another block, right? These are all illusions anyway, but we're making a point here. And we come down here into our stomach and we hold on to shit that isn't ours. Or we attach things that aren't meant for us and we're like, oh yeah, hey, I'm going to take that. That's mine. You know, your problems are mine now. So I'm going to, thanks for that. We create a block. And then all of a sudden we have these things right here. So what do the gene keys do? They take us on this little journey, right? They help us realize that we are not our mind. We are not our body. And we go up and we clear all this shit out. And what's this, that blue that represents our endocrine system is like our antennas that relay a message out here in our auric field. So whatever's going on in this pathway comes out through our little endocrine system into our aura and becomes this giant transmitter collecting all kinds of new fun stuff. So this process is a spiritual awakening, is helping you awaken your true self. Whether you see, feel, hear, whatever the divine or not, you're still coming into something. You're coming into your truth by clearing all this away and just being pure light body, pure essence. So I thought that that was like the coolest shit ever. And so I had to share it in here and get your guys' thoughts on it. So what do you guys think of that?
What do you think of it? Well, Chantal, who's in your group, she was like all these like emojis. So she's digging it for sure. What does everybody think about it? Isn't that cool? And how all the different sequences are part of that, because remember, you have that your challenge, your breakthrough, your core stability, all these things to get through to be able to come into.
Oh, I forgot the other part. Crap.
Yeah, I was thinking about where's the infinity sign?
Yeah. Well, because that was the other piece. That was actually the piece that came after I had it. So this was a sacred geometry image that I saw. I saw the apex, the diamond, but I saw an infinity symbol going across, which represents your SQ.
I just got something else.
The SQ, and the infinite, because we're always infinitely receiving, right? And so this was it. And I was like, holy crap. And it connects right at our soul down here, which I don't believe our soul's our heart.
That's where the SQ is. And you know why it's there? Because that is where it's where your like solar plexus sacral area is, but it's like your belly button. And whereas that's where you were connected to the umbilical cord. It's where you were given life. And it's also where you return home. So when you're going on the Venus journey, the Venus sequence journey, you're making your way into your childhood and you're getting to that SQ point where you need to open your heart back up the way that it was when you were a child, before stuff happened to you, or before, society and conditioning and all that, and judgments, all that stuff, so that you can come back to your core, which is also your vocation. And your core is what was imprinted on you in the womb. It's what you came here to do. So that's why it's in the middle, is because that's our one point. That's our core point. That's where we get to come back home and embody that source essence. And
and a lot of people will say like the bridge is the heart. And I never believe that, because I'm like, no, I believe our soul doesn't live in our heart. I believe it's lower. I believe it's either in your solar plexus or in your sacral chakra, or even that channel in between. Really, it's in that area. It's in our stomach. And if you ever heard of like gut health, like your stomach is your true brain or your true heart, it is the truth. Like your
heart is just how you communicate.
Yeah,
for communication.
I like that. That's how we should be communicating.
True. But you see what's curious is your brain's here and your heart's here and your mouth is here. So it's like a bridge between the two, because we're not meant to like, here, let me take out my brain. And it's like all these people like, I need to like ego death and ascend the ego. You actually need it. That's like why we're here. That creates your personality too. So it's about surrendering your ego to your heart. Your heart is in the driver's seat. The ego is just kind of like the passenger, and it could give its input, but ultimately it's the heart that drives. So.
Yeah. And I think it's cool that we took this journey. We took this not knowing how it bridged together or that piece. We're like, it'll show up, because that's how it works. Like, you just be like, forget it. There's no point of always knowing all the details of how everything's going to work and being sure that this is going to work. We don't know what's going to happen, but all we knew is we had to do this. We needed to create this for something even bigger, and that all the pieces would come together. And everybody who so far has booked sessions with us, like connection calls, has actually helped Ashley and I, because we keep having these crazy ass experiences that are like so cool.
So book more.
Yeah, please. Please connect.
We can have more of these.
It's crazy.
I wanted to show something too. I did this analogy in my other group before too, and I wanted to talk about you know how like we're made up of we have our own personality, our own gifts, purpose, all that stuff. Well, that's because we're all source. We come from source. So if this is source, we all come from this. This is what we're not like a part.
There's the balls again, people. There's the balls.
There's no more balls. But this is source, right? And so what happens is it goes through the filter of us. So like we're playing with Play-Doh here. So like this is Johanna, and this is me, and this is Chantal, and they come out differently because it's all source expressing these different expressions. So like what I did before is like you'll stick source, and source is just going to come through, and that's how your gifts are kind of the filter, and the way that you receive and transmit energy is how source is able to express itself through you. You are the channel, you are the conduit, and so you have a filter, right? And so And so that's how one person, yeah, that's how one person expresses source. And then let's move on to that was me. And then this is Johanna.
Well, welcome to Spirit Central, where we play with Play-Doh.
Play-Doh, guys. Yes. And then this is Johanna.
Oh, I can't wait.
This is how she expresses source.
Oh yeah, look at that. Tentacles. Tentacles.
You're an octopus.
Awesome.
See, so it's different. We each have different ways of expressing source, but it's still the same. It's still the same consistency. It's still the same thing, right?
Yep.
So that's what we're uncovering is what's your pattern? Like, how are you expressing? And it's not about like, I'm going to try to be like Johanna and I'm going to try to make it look like how Johanna makes it look. That's not how it works. You need to look at your gifts, look at your true essence, your true core, and how, and what does your filter look like? How are you manifesting source here? And when you guys come together, like maybe this is like comes out like as a square, and this one comes out as a triangle, but you're going to come and meet other people and merge together and create something new and unique and different together. So it's not just about expressing yourself on your own. It's about coming together with other people so that you can have relationships. Because if this is love, if source is love, infinite love, it's just going to come out through these different filters. And that's how you're going to get to express yourself. So if you don't know what your Play-Doh machine looks like, how are you going to know what you're meant to put into this world?
Yeah.
Comparing and judging and like, what about me? What am I? Who am I? Well, it's easy. It's easy. Just allow it to dance out of you. All you have to do is give it the right amount of pressure and it'll come out. Right? And if you force it, like if I push too hard,
that could be painful.
It'll flow out of you. But I've done this before where I've put too much Play-Doh in and you really try to push it and put pressure, it all pops out. And then it doesn't come out right. And you're like, oh, guess I put too much pressure on that. So there has to be a balance between like what's igniting your fire. How are you giving yourself that fire in your belly to go on this journey? How are you devoting to this journey? And with the right amount of pressure, you'll be able to find out what your magic is. This little what worm.
There must be something in the collective today about this, because being in this energy of push or flow or right or wrong, because on Wednesdays in my community I do a healing circle, and I spend time during the day and I ask them to take me through whatever it is that I'm going to be leading another through. And it will change. But the point is I need to embody whatever experience that I'm going to be sharing. And honestly, everybody should. If you're going to be sharing any of the keys or any of any program you take, that you feel called to share with your audience, you have to embody that first. You have to embody that experience, because that is what helps create your filter. That's what helps create your filter. But going back to my transmission tonight, it really was, bless you, raising our consciousness. And what they did was they came forward with my higher self and my master guide, my galactic guide, and they showed me these 3 doors. And ironically or synchronistically, it was in the 9th dimension, which is pretty much a black hole. It's like a portal of time and space. And it was giving me a glimpse. And all 3 doors, there was one on the right, it was certain color, certain scent, certain vibration. There was one on the left, same thing, different vibration, different color. And there was one in the middle. And I knew which one I wanted, but I still felt that uncertainty of not knowing where this goes. Where does this door go? I feel like it's this door, but I don't know why, and I don't know where it goes. And then they lifted me up, and I was able to get a glimpse, and I seen 3 streams. And if you've been watching Ashley and I've been talking about these damn 3 streams for a while now. So the 3 streams, one was completely still and calm and just like still, settled, still, crystal clear water. The one on the left was like the wild rapids. It was turbulent and just like all over the place, but really beautiful to watch still. And the one in the middle was calm, but that thing was booking. It was flowing. And interestingly is, as I got a little bit higher, all 3 streams led into one. And they were telling me it doesn't matter There's no right or wrong here. It doesn't matter what stream you pick, what water you step in, as long as that water is something that you're like, this is my water. I'm committing to this. This feels good to me, or I'm not sure and I'm choosing this one. No matter what, it's going to lead you to where you need to be. Eventually, you're going to get there. It's just, how do you want to get there?
Mm-hmm.
How? What way do you want to experience it?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, that was cool. So there's way more to that. And I'll actually be attempting to broadcast that live tonight on YouTube. So if you follow me, you might get see that glimpse live. But it was still a message that everybody else needed to hear, because I'm so sick of spiritual world saying it's right or wrong. You have to do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley doesn't meditate the way I meditate. There's days I meditate for hours upon eons of hours. And then there's days I get 20 minutes. That's not how Ashley does it.
I don't meditate.
But you do, but in a conscious way. You do it more consciously and more. What is meditation? Meditation is quieting your mind and with an intention of connecting to yourself, to nothing, to a guide, to somebody. It's all it is quieting your mind and setting an intention to be still and to be in that space. And that's it. So you can do it in the shower. You can do it for hours. You can do it on a run. You can do it however, while you're doing the damn dishes. How many times I've meditated driving without even consciously realizing that's what's happening. So there's never a right or a wrong. You're going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Just how do you want to do it?
We need to stop judging the way and stop putting a hierarchy on things too, because I also feel like sometimes people feel like I need to take the hard way, because the hard way is usually the struggle bus way. And I'm like, you don't have to take that way. But for some reason, I think that way is also linked with self-worth and self-esteem, because they feel like they need to prove themselves.
Yeah.
I need to prove myself on this journey. I need to take the hard road. I need to take the steep incline because I need to prove myself. Or it's that you need to prove yourself to you too. And that's okay, because I know that sometimes it's the climb and getting to the top that's like very rewarding. But it doesn't matter which journey you take, because it's all neutral. Source views everything as neutral. It's us that gives stuff meaning. So which one are you going to be devoted and committed to? And it's not about like, I want to do this way even though I'm scared shitless, and I'm going to half-ass it because I don't know if it's right. Like when you start doubting and judging yourself, and judging the way, and you're frozen and you're like, I don't know if I should jump in or if I should do it. Like if you're going to commit to something, commit to it, get devoted to it and give it your all, no matter if it's the easy way or the hard way. And who even labeled them as easy and hard? That's another way that we're judging them and labeling them, because they're all equally. It's just an experience. Choose what experience you want to have.
And we've been so conditioned, at least I was anyway, that we had to work hard. I remember my dad being like, and my dad was the best person ever on earth, like the greatest man. But he used to be like, I work 80 hours a week to provide for this family, and it has to be hard. You have to work hard. And so I instilled that in myself. And then I got to this space and I'm like, dude, that sucks. I don't want to work my whole life breaking my back to one day when I'm too old to enjoy my life, sit there with my feet up traveling, like, my hips aren't going to work. Like, right?
Yeah. Life is happening now, right now.
Why? What are we waiting for? Like, everybody's like, oh, I'll wait till I'm retired. You don't know that you're going to get there. Like, you don't know what's going to happen the minute you walk out your door. Just live.
Right? Yeah, don't plan for the future. Plan for right now. So ask yourself, like, what do you want to experience? What do you want more of? What are you grateful for in the present? And what do you want to create more of what you already have? But you have to be grateful for what you already do have. And you have to be grateful for the present, because what is the future going to do to you? It's going to create anxiety. It's going to create restlessness. It's going to create, if you're looking to that future thing, like, oh, I want this, I'm going to wait for this because I feel like I need to do all this work before I get there, you're going to half-ass your whole life. Because you're going to be living for that moment that's in the future instead of living for the moment that's now.
Yeah.
And that's any way to live.
Well, and then I was making decisions for my future based on stuff that had happened in my past.
Oh,
and that doesn't work either, because it just stressed me out even more. And we're not saying that don't plan for the future at all. Like, it's good to have goals. It's good to be like, you know what, these are some things that I'd like, but don't be so attached to how you get there or the way, what particular road you take or what's going to happen. The expectation is killer, man. For me, anyway, I know if I have any expectation or any attachment to it working out, you can almost guarantee I just signed my death check that is not going to work out that way. That's about how that rolls. So it has led me to be like, whatever, I have to roll with it. It's happening for a reason.
Detachment. That's important. Again, Gene Key 42, which is my culture, which is something
my
that
radiance.
Your radiance, my culture. We're here to bring that together about presence and being and detachment and not having expectations, because our expectations are what causes our suffering, right? And also what you were saying about like if we are too ahead of ourselves in the future or comparing the present on the past, then we're not opening ourselves up to possibilities. Because if you're like, it has to go this way and I have to have this end result, then you totally just limited all your possibilities in the now, because it's limitless right here, right now. And if we say, oh, but last time I did that, this happened, but that's not now. Why does that have to be? Why are you creating that pattern or loop for yourself that every time you do this, this is going to happen? Be open to having new experiences.
It happens again. The same opportunity presents itself again for you to choose again. Hello? Like, let's try this one more time. And you ever wonder why the same shit keeps happening, whether it's a relationship, a money, business, your kids, whatever. It's because they keep giving you that same opportunity to break the cycle, to break the loop. So break the damn thing. Be like, nope, you're done. You're fired.
You're done. I'm done. Yeah. Oh, but it's so cool. What were we talking? We were talking about something. I think we were talking about samsaras and those kind of loops. And I'm going to use Plato again. And she was talking about breaking the loop. So remember, guys, like karmic relationships, like we were talking about. I had posted that in our description. There are certain people, situations, circumstances that come into your life because they're here to show you the pattern. They're here to be like, this is how you're limiting yourself. Do you want to continue to have this experience, or do you want a new experience? And so it's going to show up as the same theme or common thread in every single relationship. So there's certain relationships that are here to liberate you by provoking you, because you're going to sense that dissatisfaction with them, and you're going to want to attain that freedom from it. And that's because it's all in your mind, because your mind is tired of being in that samsara. It's like, fuck this loop. I'm done with this loop. So like we have that loop, that pattern, that relationship, and it keeps going. And what happens is, even when you break out of it prematurely, you still come up and do it again. It still happens again because you're in the same spiral dynamic. It's like spiral dynamics. You're still in the same loop. You just have popped over to another, because it's two people coming together to create the same damn loop that happens over and over and over again. And what needs to happen is we're needing to break that pattern and almost collapse it into itself so that it doesn't happen again, so that
that's integration right there. That's why we integrate it.
Exactly. Oh my God, that is another reason. Yeah. So two people coming together to create the loop, you can break the loop and never integrate this other piece. And then come and bring another person in and be like, okay, let's try this again. It's all for you to freaking integrate it and have a new experience.
Come into one.
Because what are we doing? We're taking all these experiences to come back into oneness, so that you are experiencing all of source, all of totality, experiencing your immortality, experiencing everything with our relationships with other people, and integrating that, because we're just here to have fun and play and have experiences.
And that's how it is in the divine. You know what? People think that over there, everything's so and I don't even like using the term over there, but we're going to use it for right now because that's where a lot of people are, the veil of separation. But, they think it's proper and that it's all whatever. They just want to have fun. My guides are a freaking riot. They're like, here's Ashley over here baking on TV. She's over there. They're showing me her with a rolling pen and dough. So you're doing that. And I'm over here laughing because this is what I'm seeing in my head. And they're just trying to make it be fun and light. They want to have fun. They come to lighten us up. They're going to comfort us and guide us. But this is why they hide your keys. This is why they're sitting there laughing at you as you're screaming across the house, going, where's my epic keys? What did you do with them? And then you turn around and they're sitting right there like they've been there the whole time. That's what they're doing. They're laughing at you, going, take a load off already.
Johanna's like, where are my glasses?
Touch touch your head, woman, touch your head.
Oh, or people are like, where's God? Where's God? Where's my purpose? What? And then they're like, right here. Mm-hmm. It's always been right here. And that's why they say, we've never left you. They can't leave you. Separation is an illusion.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is. It's a big one. And it was, I never, that the whole galactic piece and comes back to the whole, like, having not an empty, but a open self-center, never feeling like you belong. I remember as a little girl, my dad used to take me on the most epic road trips. It's probably why I always see the journey of life as a road trip. But anyway, I would look out the window and stare at the moon, and I would just be like, I'm so homesick. And it wasn't until later when I fully came into the conscious awareness of the galactic beings, I was like, freaking no wonder I was always staring at the moon, being like, I'm homesick, thinking like that's my home. Because it is. And that's the other part that I don't know why we're going here, but someone needs to hear this.
We're checking all the things off the list that I wrote.
Apparently. But star seeds. A lot of times we have these conscious conversations about we're all star seeds. And so and then I started hearing about earth seeds. So I had a conversation with my galactic team, and I'm like, all right, like, what is this about? Like, what is this? And we are all star seeds. I mean, Jesus was a Palladian Lemurian hybrid, for crying out loud. And he's not white. And we're just going to set that record straight right now. But here's the other cool part about it is we are all star seeds. But what the term where this came from is we came to seed Earth with star seeds who have not incarnated like hundreds of times here, only a few times, to help bridge that connection back and bring us together. And then you have earth seeds, and earth seeds, you people are old souls. Like, you have come and incarnated over and over again. And so you are really rooted here into this earth. And so while we are all earth seeds, we all started from source, right? We all came from the same place. We have that filter, that difference, where some of us have had more experience as Pleiadians or Lemurians or Andromedans or whatever, you know what I mean? And some have really enjoyed coming back to Earth over and over again. So, but everybody, they all get to understand this is the place where we get to touch and have this experiences like nowhere else. That's why we keep coming back, to have this epic experience. We think that this is hell, and it can be, or it can be heaven on earth, right? We can embody that higher consciousness. Remember who the F we are. Remember that we're infinite, that money is an illusion, that all these things are illusion, that my smoothie cup is an illusion. It's not real, you know? And we can embody that and be like, all right, if this is the matrix, if this is supposed to be the new earth, the new paradigm, well, let's live it. Let's see what happens. Let's push this button and open that door and do.
Let me ask you something. Okay, let me ask you this too, because if you were always conscious in your dream world, what would you do there? Because we have an idea that it's fake. It's not real. It's just for play. It's just for fun. It's just to experience stuff. What if your dream is just reminding you of what your waking hours are? And it's time to wake up in your dream and wake up in real life, so that we don't take it so serious. We just freaking play. And then there's no distinction between it.
Yeah. I mean, I would do all kinds of stuff. I mean, you know, I had a conscious conversation with my 11-year-old son yesterday when we were driving. He's like, yeah, you know, I had this dream that I was at the arcade with my friend. And then I went to school, and my friend was like, hey, I had a dream I was at the arcade with you. And I was like, cool, you guys astro traveled and played together. Like, that's awesome. Because my son astro travels all the time. And it was like, I was like, see, you didn't have to, this is a perfect experience that you don't have to actually go into that physical location and do that. Like, you guys remembered your epic experience together that you traveled energetically in your mind to have. Like, you can have and do and be anything you want. It's all available to you. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's some wisdom that our kids are here to teach us and show us, you know? Imagination, it's all real. Those imaginary friends, those are spirits. You know, they're just talking away. So I mean, it's all possible. Think about the people that move stuff with their mind. What is that called again?
Denise.
Yeah, sure, that one.
I'm gonna do that. Watch, you guys. That's gonna be me. I was just talking to my Saphira. I was like, asking her, I was like, is there any like gift that you know that you're going to get later? And I was like, I know that I'm going to be able to use telekinesis. I just always as a kid, I always knew it. And I was like, I'm waiting. When am I going to get that key bestowed upon me? But again, like I feel like there's a lot of inner work that obviously we have to do, because imagine if you could I don't want to get mad at somebody and like do something that I would that was kind of scary. Can I don't know. We'll see. But I know that I'm going to be able to do it.
Your husband will be so nice to you.
He loves Stranger Things. Like loves. He will watch it over and over and over again. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm going to be able to do the same thing as 11. And he's like, you're crazy. And I'm like, just wait.
I'm going to show you.
That's
so funny. Well, does anybody have any questions about, anything, honestly? What do you got for us? Let's see if it's the devotion experience or something else in general. Like, we've opened Pandora's box, so let's see what comes out of it.
And I'm going to post a link for the devotion experience in the comments, and you guys can sign up for our 30 minute to an hour session. It's supposed to be 30 minutes, but when the galactics or whoever comes through, it's like we just let it go and go. So come hang out with us. Come see how the three of us make a trinity of amazingness.
Yeah, so I'm telling you, there's something that happens. It's like I don't know. I can't even put it into words. But it happens before the other person even gets on the call. Like we just sit there and we're like, what is this energy? What's happening here? And then later at the end of it, we're like, oh yeah, okay. That all worked out just how it was supposed to.
Exactly. Let me see if anybody has any comments. I know that when you were talking about star seeds and earth seeds, Olivia was giving us like mad hearts. It's like she was just like, I just kept going. Like she really likes this Johanna.
Well, come talk about it. What do you want to know, girlfriend?
She says she feels earth seed energy in her heart. Olivia's a reflector.
Oh.
She's we're doing a DNA activation in 45 minutes. She's going to. Yeah, she's going to activate me to 24. I'm like, okay, let me have this experience. Let's do it. So I'm curious to see. I'm going to get my journal out and just see like what pops up for me.
Yeah, I'm activated. I was activated to 48. And it's interesting, the stuff that happens. That's for sure. I feel like it's like ripping the Band-Aid off of some stuff sometimes and says, here you go, have some magic. But, the other interesting thing.
Is that what Band-Aid ripping is like? Have some magic. That hurt.
we're just gonna push you right into this next level. Here you go. But, the craziest thing is, we all can activate our own stuff. And I know that just me being around certain people activates and awakens things within us. And that can happen with a lot of people. Some people, and a lot of these people have actually this has been a common thread that's been showing up on our calls, are people that are highly sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that penetrate another person's aura. And when they do that, that is a catalyst. It is a catalyst. They become activators. And while I don't have that particular number in my chart, I still have that ability. I still catalyze and activate people. And so you have to think about it. While that may be somebody's profession and their specialty of activating or even restructuring DNA, which is still an awesome thing. And it's, I recommend it for anybody who wants to like really jump into that ocean. But I think it is available to all of us to awaken that dormant DNA that's ready and waiting for us to say, come online now. Let me fully light up.
Right.
Come online.
Well, I've been online. Show me some new programs.
You're just gonna get brighter.
I want some more programs.
I'm turning up the wattage.
Can you add more? I only have remember those base games that you have on the PCs, like that mind game where you're pressing, or like Dig Dug and all these like I'm like, I need some upgrades on my games on my computer. Give me some new games to play with.
Yeah. And that's what's fun though about working with the galactics is, you know, they bring in these interdimensional lights and when we talk about light language, so light language can come across in so many ways. It can be in crystal grids, it can be in singing, it can be in drawing, painting, it could be in writing a book. There could be a light language activation, or just speaking to somebody. And then it can be through healing. And so I do it through a number of ways, but the biggest one for me is the light that comes through when I do healing transmissions is I channel light, like massive amounts of light that runs through me. And this is why I started elevating people's consciousness and taking them on a journey up. Because if you think about it, if I'm bringing all that energy down and then through me, it was exhausting my body. Like I was just feeling so like depleted and just moving that much light. And so when I found that when I raised us all up into a lighter, more expansive space that was not so constrictive, because I really feel like the third dimension is very constrictive. You know, we've really limited ourselves. We've put a lot of conditions and boxes and things. And so when we go up and we allow people they literally come out of their shell, even if it's temporarily, and they open themselves up, it makes the flow and the ease so much better. And my body isn't like afterwards, I'm not like dying and feeling like I just got hit by a Mack truck. And so that was the coolest thing for me, was taking people up. And a lot of times people will go up and they'll be like, as soon as they hit 9th or 10th dimension, they're out and they don't come back until I bring them back. And they're like, well, I missed the whole thing. I'm like, no, you didn't. Your body just got out the way. Like your human existence part, you know, whatever you want to call that, just kind of moved over. And the effect is still there. Your subconscious, your soul still collected those higher energies, you know, and you just had a really nice rest and you feel really good now. So who cares?
The experience. You got exactly what you needed. I know you weren't letting yourself nap, girlfriend. So here you go, have a nap.
And the coolest thing is, you know, I really got tested with this because I had a session with a little boy who is a 2-4 manifesting generator with a root connected to his solar plexus only. Nothing going anywhere else. So pressure, talk about pressure. This kid has a lot of pressure too. And a lot of emotion, a lot of explosions going on, right? Very hyperactive, go, go, go. And not
generators.
The mom was exhausted, and she was a generator and she's just exhausted. She was just wiped out. And so I had a session with the parents and the little boy. And then I came back a few weeks later and I just did an energy session just to really clear him out, because he had a lot of ancestral karmic stuff that needed to be cleared out. So anyway, I was a little nervous at first because I was like, you know, it's really hard to get a child to lay still for an hour and be like, don't move.
You're in person?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I do them in person and online. But anyway, so I put the headphones on him and I've got crystals all around him. And he's talking to me and I say, okay. So I call in our team in the healing room and I start raising him up. Before I hit the 12th dimension, he was like out cold. The mom comes down and she's like, how did you do that?
Well, if that's how you can get the kids to sleep, then I'm doing that tonight, because I got 3 manifesting generators. This is true. I think I will do that.
You do. You have, you're the center, the calm, and they're like the storm outside of you going like this.
They're my tornado.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets sucked into it. But anyways, continue.
But you know, that was a test for me, because I haven't done in-person sessions on children. Most of the time I had been doing them in straight up meditation, you know, all through my mind. And so this was interesting, but yeah, as soon as he hit that higher dimension, it was like out cold. And, you know, it was a beautiful session, but it just shows you that we really have so much resistance. We have so much resistance, even a young child, because, you know, they're just like, oh, pretty, let me look at this. Oh, over here, you know, we're so distracted today. We don't ever just allow ourselves to be present and lean back into it and be like, it's cool, it's all good. It'll work out, you know? And so that's surrender. It's just being like, all right, let's do this. Mm-hmm. Story of my life, surrender some more.
And then more.
And then one more time. And then again.
And again. It never stops. So we need to stop. We need to stop collecting the amount of times we have to surrender, because it's just going to always be the case. You're never going to stop surrendering. It's going to be until the day you die when you do the ultimate surrender. I surrender my body.
Yep. And it's cool. It's cool. So any new questions or comments?
No, just love. Just
lots of love.
Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I want to keep doing stuff like this, conscious communication series, where we just get on and let it flow and see what happens. Because it's better when you don't plan anything and you just let things flow through, because you're not limiting anything. It's just super wide open.
It's fun.
Mm-hmm. And then you guys can come to the table and say, oh, I want to hear about this, or tell me what you think about this, or tell us about your experiences, or give us your input on the stuff that we're talking about. Because it's not just a conversation between me and Johanna. It's between you guys too.
Yeah. And so
yeah,
put stuff in there that you guys are curious about, and we'll come back and do a new array of fun tricks and whatever, and see what comes out of that box.
Magic every time. Well,
yeah.
Magic.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, I hope we see some of you on the devotion calls.
Oh, yes, yes.
Make a call, connect.
We're like talking over each other. Hold on, I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
I said, I hope to see some more people on the connection calls, and really just, and here's the thing. If you don't be afraid to get on a call with us, because we are not here to push or pressure or anything. We are here to open the door and say, let's see what happens, what that feeling is. And so that's what the point of connecting to us, where we could have just put prices on there and said, if you want to buy it, and just waited and seen what happened. But we want to connect with your energy. We want to see what comes forward. We want to explore and see if it's a good fit, and see what magic unlocks just by creating that trinity. Mm-hmm. and you know, connecting our hands and our energy. So anyway, it's really more of like an experiment than anything.
I like that too. Experiment. No expectations.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.